Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Hey, there's my camera. Good. Hey, how's it going? Good to see everyone in the chat. Um, yeah, it's another Nights with Ping. Happy to see you here. Bees are alive. Afternoon, Ping. Afternoon to you, my friend. Gambler is here. He's at the store again. Always at the store. Diane Marie. Hello, everyone. What do you think about what was released about the KC3? We'll talk about that in a minute. Diane Marie. That's not Diane Marie. That's Nana Lana. Hello, Diane. What was that about, Charles? I have no idea what she's talking about. Hey, DJ. Good to see you. Laurie's here. Moonlight View is here. Hey, hey, my friend. How are you? Marilyn Landis is here. Hey, Marilyn Landis and Woos. Everyone is here. We have a lot of stories to talk to about tonight. Hey, Shell Huffman, how are you? Good to see you in the chat tonight. Empress, hey, Empress. Yay, Niners, that's right. Head into the Super Bowl. Yeah, hell yeah. 10 days away or something. We're going to go to a Super Bowl against the KC Chiefs. The Niners are going to win. I just feel it in my bones. Hey, Roche runs late. Emily Narb, good to have you here. And Lula's here. Hey, Lula. Good to see you back here. We have a lot of stories to cover tonight, including the KC3. We have a woman who is wanted out of Texas, I think, for drugging and robbing men. We'll talk a bit more about that. We'll also talk a little bit about Jennifer Crumbley tonight as well. She took the stand in her own defense on Thursday over her alleged role in her son's school shooting. She tried to defend herself against people that said that she is a failure as a parent for what her son has done. We'll talk a bit more about that, and I'll get your opinion on it. Yeah. Hey, Hugni, good to have you here. Glad you could make it. All right, let's set up this first story. This first one's really interesting. I'm sure this is out of Texas, right? Fox 7. Austin. Out of Austin in Texas. Let's get going. Now we can have the camera. Hey, how's it going? No one needs my face that close to the bloody screen like it was when we started the show. All right. Let's see. It says multiple men drugged, robbed in downtown Austin. Police looking for suspect. And yeah, it says the Austin Police Department is looking for a woman they say drugged multiple men, robbed them in downtown Austin Entertainment District. The APD says the incident involved male victims who were potentially drugged and had their credit cards and cell phones stolen. The cards and phones were then used to steal over $75,000 in fraudulent purchases, transactions using the banking apps on the phones, and physical purchases in various businesses using the cards. The woman has been linked to several incidents reported as early as January 2022 and as recently as December. The woman is described as a white female around 5'6" with a heavy build and blonde hair, also wearing makeup apparently. Here's a photo of her that the police are trying to look for this woman. Someone must know who she is. She looks very recognizable. You know, not because of her stature or whatever, just she has that kind of face that you'd know if you've seen her before. Here's a few photos of her in different periods of time. That looks like a bar. So maybe she's picking up men in bars and drugging them when they go home together. So she's almost like a date rape kind of thing. And it's like sort of, but it's more like date and steal. So she takes them home and then just steals all their money. It says anyone with information should contact the APD's robbery unit at 512-974-5092, or you can submit tips anonymously through Capital Area Crime Stoppers program by visiting austincrimestoppers.org or calling 512-472-8477. A reward of up to $1,000 may be available for any information that leads to an arrest. There you go. I don't. Let's watch this little video about her.
Austin police are looking for a woman who they believe has been drugging and robbing men in downtown Austin. The woman you see right here is accused of stealing over $75,000 from several victims. Police say these robberies began in early 2022 and have been reported as recently as last month. They believe the suspect drugged her victims before stealing their credit cards and cell phones. If you know who she is, you're asked to please call Austin police at the number there on the screen.
That was like the world's shortest video. Why do they do that? Give us like 2 minutes or something. I mean, that's what women say. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully they find someone must know who she is. I mean, you can see
We
her. She's
begin with
been
breaking
everywhere.
news as the girl
Hey,
at center of an Amber Alert out of Taylor earlier.
no, we'll talk about the Amber Alert later. Don't rush my show, automatic video. It says here, yeah, so this looks like different places she's been at least. Let's see if I make that bigger. There we go. It's a bit full on. There we go. Obviously, she's very unique, I think. Especially the way she wears her makeup and hair. I'd say someone knows this person with a fashion sense like this. It's very interesting. This coat is very. I would know if I saw someone wearing this coat. I'd be like, oh, I know who that is, because like I've never seen someone wear something like that. Someone must know her. Call it in to Austin PD. They want to know. They want to have a friendly chat with her. That's all. Just a friendly chat. That's all they want to do. Sherry Runs Late says she looks washed up. Yeah, she looks something. um, Diane Marie says, yes, we'll talk about the Kansas 3 after this. Some interesting developments in the last few hours for the Kansas 3, that's for sure. Just calling in their drinks, like that's why I was saying it was sort of like a drink spiking. There's a couple of these look like bars. I'll show you which one. This one. Where is it? This looks like a bar. You can see something like a bar or a gaming room or something. You can. That's sort of what I'm thinking. She's sitting down, and so maybe she's picking up men at bars, and then maybe she's drink spiking them and taking them home or stealing their wallets or something. Either a bar or some sort of food place, maybe. She's definitely sitting down. Food or like yeah, a bar or something. You can see there's a cash machine there and some sort of area to grab food or drink here. Definitely think she's probably meeting up men on either meeting up for men for dates or maybe meeting up with men like for hookups or something, and then they don't get any
This
sex.
morning
They
has
just
been
get
found. That's according to the Williamson County.
They just get robbed of their possessions. That's it. She looks like Betty. Oh my god. Don't put that evil on us, Danny Mitchell, the chat celebrity. Do not put that evil into the world. Don't speak it into existence. I mean, oh my god. I imagine if it was, I mean, that would be like the biggest breaking story in true crime on YouTube. Alright. That's all I can tell you. If you know her, call it in. Someone will know her for sure. I mean, it's interesting though. She looks much thinner in this photo compared to, say, this photo. This photo, her face is much more fuller, and in this photo, she looks like she's lost some weight. She's not as round in the face as she was in the first photo. Definitely looks like. I mean, she's still a larger lady. She's not big or anything, but she's just a bit larger than some other people. But she's definitely a bit thinner in the face here. You can see the difference here and in the other photo. They did say it had been taken, this one in 2022, and then I think they said dating back as far, yeah, this is taken in 2023, so over a year or more later. She definitely looks thinner in this one, thinner in the face. Sharon's like, that's a photo when she was getting paid. Possibly. I'm not repeating that one. I can't say that as a guy. Yeah, definitely different from a year or so. I definitely think she's so she could have a different look depending on where you saw her, what year, that type of thing. That's pretty normal though. I don't wanna talk any more on women and their weight. I'll, end up saying something I shouldn't, and then they'll all come for me. So, let's move to a different story. Let's do that. Hey, who's a girl? How are you? Good to see you. What is that sign you're standing in front of? I can't read it. Uh, Fox Hollow or something? I can't read it all. Yeah, next. Sean says next, next. All right. Actually, which one do we want to do? All right, we'll do this one. Hold on, let me check this. Thank you to Mel Mac. Appreciate that. I actually had a link for it, but it's all good. I'll use your link. So big news actually coming in this afternoon. Toxicology report back on 3 Kansas City men found dead outside home. Fox 4 has confirmed police have received a toxicology report Thursday from the investigation into the 3 Kansas City men found dead outside a Northland home last month. Family members of Dave Harrington, Clayton McGeeney, and Ricky Johnson told Fox 4 they learned police received the report, and Kansas City police confirmed they have been in contact with the family. There have been no additional details of this case revealed to any media, nor are there any plans to at this time. The case remains an ongoing death investigation, according to the KCPD. Both KCPD detectives and the Plate County Prosecutor's Office have been in touch with the deceased men's families and remain in contact with them as the investigation unfolds. Fox 4 is apparently working on obtaining a copy of the toxicology report. It will determine if there are any substances, including alcohol, drugs, and more, were found in the 3 men's systems at the time of their death. But I have more information than this. If I can just get it, I will show you. Jennifer Coffindaffer from News Nation said that I guess she was told from a source, or it's being reported, that there were multiple substances found in the toxicology report of the 3 men. And that came across my desk this afternoon. I'm just going to check if she has a different update on it. I'm just trying to see if she's. That was 3 hours ago. That was her post 3 hours ago on her Twitter. I can show you. Hopefully it doesn't pop up my messages like it always does. There we go. There you go. Toxicology report is back. The media pressure is why it did not take 8 weeks. You can hang your hat on that. Finally, the victims' families will have answers. It is being reported multiple substances. She said there's no surprise there. Stay tuned. More to come on Kumo on News Nation tonight. So I'm guessing probably right around now is when Kumo's on, right? 9 o'clock. He's probably telling you on News Nation what's in that toxicology report. Let me just switch back out of this one. I think we all had a feeling there would have to be something that caused them to stay out there, but it'll be interesting if we find out exactly what was in their systems. Oh, so you were doing a bit of true crime sightseeing? Is that what happened? You were doing a bit of visiting different places crimes had happened? He owned all the Safeways. That's interesting. We have Safeway in Australia, but it's a different company. It's a different owner of the company. Marylander says, I saw one substance was cocaine. I don't think we're looking for cocaine. I think we're more looking for anything maybe like fentanyl or any type of opioid, any type of muscle relaxant, anything that would make you down. I think it's mostly what we're looking for. Hold on. Mel sent me another. There we go. So sources are out. Toxicology report says Chiefs fans who died in friend's backyard had cocaine and fentanyl in their systems, according to sources. We had a feeling that might have been the case. It says preliminary toxicology reports indicate the 3 men who died after watching a Kansas City game at a friend's home last month had traces of fentanyl and cocaine in their systems. Clayton, Ricky, and David were found dead in the backyard of their friend Jordan Willis 2 days after watching the football game. And it says down here, according to WDAF, police have received a toxicology report on the three men and have spoken with the family members about it. But entertainment website TMZ says that sources with direct knowledge have told them that the toxicology tests found traces of cocaine and fentanyl in the men's systems and that police detected those drugs early on in the investigation. Other drugs may be included when the full toxicology report is released. What I'm guessing they did was police have these they look like, when you go to KFC and you get like those napkins that have the alcohol in it to take the grease off your hand. They have ones like that they can open up and they'll actually swab hands, t-shirts, mobile phones, like all sorts of things. And if there are any specks of drugs on whatever they wipe it on, the actual little cloth will change color. And I'm guessing that's what they did early on in the investigation. They probably wiped down like different things, maybe their hands or mobile phones, jackets, wallets, key cards. Who knows? Who knows what they found? But they probably did that to see if there was any traces of drugs that they could find, and it changes color depending on the drug. So it might be like blue for fentanyl, might be like red for cocaine or something. So they actually change color. Don't know if people have actually seen them before, but they're pretty common. Yeah, he was renting it from the homeowner. That was a mistake in their reporting, not mine. I didn't write it. Yeah, he was actually a tenant. A tenant. Hey, yep, another Maria. How are you? What about the other one dude who left? I think he's fine, isn't he? I think he made a comment late last week, just saying what he knew, that basically he left at some point and he didn't know what happened. Basically, he just went home. I wonder if was it only these three guys who were doing drugs, or do you think it was all of them? That's the question I have. Was it all the people? Were they having sort of like a bit of a drug party watching the game? Like, or was it just these three buddies that were doing cocaine and fentanyl and whatever? Sean says there has to be traces of drugs, packaging, or bottle. No, they could have had, um, if they could find it, maybe they could find like a little baggie that had like drugs in it, like a little tiny baggie, or yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they could find. You would think if they died and it was fentanyl, maybe maybe a needle intravenous. I will tell you something interesting though. Last weekend there was a huge rave in Sydney in Australia. There were a few people who overdosed on what they thought was ecstasy. They thought it was MDMA. It wasn't. It ended up being this other drug that's like a super potent opioid, but it's not fentanyl. It's got a different name. Um, they actually stopped the entire rave, got on stage, and told people that if you have a pill in your possession that is a Red Bull, it's a Red Bull ecstasy tablet. If you have this in your possession, if you take this pill, you are more than likely going to overdose and possibly die. And apparently, they had a whole bunch of people come up to them and discard the pills. They had been making their way through the rave. So you might be like, Ping, why are you talking about this? And I'm saying, these days, you don't know what the hell you're taking, and it's so different than when I was growing up. When I was growing up, if you went to a dealer and got MDMA or whatever, you're probably going to get MDMA. You weren't going to get fentanyl or other kind of downers or whatever. But now, like kids and ravers and people doing drugs, they have to be so careful. You don't know what the hell you're getting. So, yeah. Hey, Melissa. Hey, good to see you, my friend. It's really great to see you. Glad you could make a live. It's really good. I see you in the comments the last few days. And Melmax says, I think all of them, just some more than others, as were more accustomed to the drug use than others, possibly. They all died, though. 3 of them died, at least. Hey, Shelley. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Where's Danny? What does he say? It's possible. Do you think that guy, the tenant of the house, the HIV researcher, do you think he is a dealer? Is that what you're saying, Danny? You think he was a dealer? Steal their parents' or grandparents' meds? Are you advising people to do that, or you're saying that these guys did that? I'm confused. Alright, let's have a look. Empress says, "I wonder if the guy who left provided the drugs. That's a murder rap." Maybe. Maybe that's why he got out of there. He's like, "Oh, I gave them the bunk like, the crap stuff, like, the stuff that's gonna hurt hurt them. Let me get out of here." That is an interesting, uh, comment. Danny Mitchell says, "I think the novices went outside to get air thinking it would help." Yeah, so in a opioid overdose, you start to not be able to control your breathing because your breathing becomes depressed. And maybe you're right, Danny. Maybe they went outside thinking that the cold air was going to either one, wake them up, or two, allow them to breathe better. But you're really not going to get any help with that. Empress said they add fentanyl so you want more. That's if you don't croak. Yeah. Hold on. I want to show you this one from the weekend. Hold on. I want to find out the drug that they're talking about. Where is it? It was at a rave called HTID, which is actually one of my favorite raves. It's called Hardcore Till I Die. But let me find. Yes, here it was a Guardian article. Here we go. So it says, when a serious ill Sydney raver set off alarm bells, a DJ stepped in to avert a nightmare scenario. Where's the So it says here, a raver at the HTID festival was in need of help. They'd taken what they believed to be a popular party drug, MDMA, but their symptoms were serious and not typically associated with the drug. When they responded to naloxone, a medication designed to rapidly reverse the impacts of opioids, the specialists knew they had to act fast. The person had unknowingly taken a form of nitazene, which is a strong synthetic opioid more dangerous than fentanyl and heroin. Even a small dose can cause overdose or death. The experts feared festival goers might inadvertently take a large dose, thinking it was MDMA. The thing that saved these people that actually took these Red Bull pills, they only took half, and that's so interesting. Uh, Often, people who are new to raving or new to taking ecstasy are often advised to take their pills in halves because they don't know how strong they are. And if they seem okay, you can have another half in an hour or so, etc. It's so interesting in this particular case. By only having half, it saved their lives. Anyone who had a full pill of this one at this rave would have died. They're saying they would have 100% would have died. The drug circulating among the crowd was a pink pill with the words Red Bull pressed into it. Days later, New South Wales Health linked the same pill to 3 hospitalizations, with one person treated in intensive care unit. All 3 had taken half the pill, saved their lives. Subsequent tests showed it contained no MDMA at all. Medical experts warned a company called DanceWise in New South Wales. They're a group of volunteers who help people at raves who might be drug affected or, you know, even alcohol affected. They just kind of make sure everyone's having a good time. They said at 10:30, the festival organizers cut the music and 21,000 people stopped dancing. On center stage, an organizer and regular DJ at the HDID events told the crowd what they knew. And they said, "We have a quick announcement. We have been advised here is a substance in the form of a Red Bull pink pill that has been flagged by medical specialists as having serious adverse effects. If you are feeling unwell, please seek medical assistance. Everybody, let's finish this party friendly and have a great night." Probably one of the coolest things I've ever heard of at a rave. I've been to hundreds of them, and I've never seen them stop a rave like that before to make that kind of announcement. It's really groundbreaking, and hopefully will lead to better like pill testing and less deaths at festivals, which Australia's had a big problem with recently. It says before the announcement was read out, the festival organizer, Dancewise, and the medical team workshopped the message on a mobile phone to make sure it was clear, direct, and succinct. The nitazene overdose symptoms are often unpredictable, but include loss of consciousness, skin turning purple or gray, snoring, drowsiness, and pinpoint pupils. Alcohol can also increase the risk of overdose. The drug was detected after heroin overdoses on the New South Wales Central Coast in late December. It was also detected in black market vape juice, which was linked to 3 overdoses and a death last year. They don't mean nicotine vape juice, they mean marijuana vape juice, which is not legally sold in Australia. So the only way to get it is through the black market. There you go. Isn't that cool? I thought that was really awesome of the festival organizers and the company Dancewise. Thought that was very interesting. I have no idea. Uh, yeah, potent stuff. Sherry on site says whatever was in their system had to be potent enough for them to not even to break a window to get into the house or start their cars to get warm. It hit fast. Under 20 minutes, you can overdose and die from opioids. It can just hit you like that, especially if you do it intravenously. There's no way to walk it back unless you have naloxone or whatever that other stuff is, that inhaler. There's no way to walk it back unless you have those. Bar salts in Red Bull pills. Bar salts. Is that what that is? That chemical? Is that what that nitazene? Is that bar salts? Let me see. Okay, I don't think so. I think bar salts with that starts with an M. Starts with like a M name. Utilone. Utilone? It says here that nitrozenes are called these names here. I'll show you. Isotonanitazene, metatonanitazene, or nitazene, etonan. Yeah, so is that the one you're talking about? Etonitazene, that one, and protonitazene. So they have like the different chemical names here, but this is not what they took. They took fentanyl. It's about the same thing apparently. Apparently derived from the opium poppy. Of course it is. All the drugs are. So this is becoming a bigger deal in Australia. It says, Diane Marie says, most indie companies will let you get Narcan for free to carry with you. Sad it's come to this. Most chemists in Australia now give it out to anyone who gets any opioids that are strong enough to OD you. They will give you a Narcan or naloxone subscription for free. Synthetic cathinones, more commonly known as bar salts, are human-made stimulants chemically related to cathinone, the substance found in the cat plant. Yeah, cat's a African. Is that right? It's an African drug. It's a plant. Insurance, not indie. Okay. Let me have a look. Pretty sure it's an African plant. Yes, it is. It's from Africa. The cat plant is a flowering plant native to eastern and southeastern Africa. It is cultivated by farmers, and its leaves are sold on the market. The world's largest exporter is Ethiopia. Cat is like really a common. I'll show you. The DEA in America seizes more cat than some other drugs per ton than, like, I think it's like more than heroin or something, because it's such a big deal to African cultures, and they pay a large amount for these bundles. You can see these bundles. This is how they come when they're imported. Um, they pay a big lot of money for this, and yeah, I heard that it's per ton or something, it's more imported than, uh, some opioids. Yeah, it's one of those things. Hey, Blue Moon, how are you? Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, Jordan the chemist did an OD. It is interesting. Hey, Gambler, how are you? Hey, Gizmo. So there you go. There's some history for you. So yeah, it's a cat is a flowering evergreen shrub that is abused for its stimulant-like effect. Cat has two active ingredients, cathine and cathinone. There you go. So they make different. Apparently, it's typically chewed like tobacco, then retained in the cheek and chewed intermittently to release the active drug, which produces a stimulant-like effect. Dried cat leaves can be made into a tea or chewable paste, and cat can also be smoked or even sprinkled on food. There you go. So if you've never heard of this stuff, it's pretty popular. Pretty popular with border control. Border control are always trying to get it found in the shipments. Danny Mitchell said, "Did Jordan have Narcan?" Maybe. We don't know anything about that though. I don't think we've ever heard anything to suggest that. Let me have a look. His name is Jordan Willis, right? Where's his name? Yes, Jordan Willis. All right, hold on. So we know that Jordan Willis checked into rehab, and then lawyered up. That's very interesting. Rehab for what exactly? And why did he need to go into rehab? I'm just checking a site here to see if there's anything to do with Narcan. Let me look up this. Look up TMZ. What's the TMZ article say? Let me see. Come on, where are you? No, KC. Yeah. Here's the source of that information. It says deceased Chiefs fans, early toxicology indicates cocaine and fentanyl in systems. At 2:24 p.m. Pacific time, sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ early toxicology results from this investigation suggest traces of cocaine and fentanyl were found in the deceased system. Full toxicology report has yet to be released, but for now, we're told these are the substances that cops have detected early on. There may be others that surface when the official results come out. Just trying to see if there's anything else about him going to why he went to rehab. So they're saying that they're still trying to figure out how the substances were introduced to the three people and if anyone else was involved that was at the party. And whether there's anything else, that led to their deaths in the 2 days beforehand. Yeah, there you go. That's all I know. It's very kind of you, Moonlight View, to say that. Diane Marie says, if he thinks he's going to prison, better go through rehab. It would be cold turkey in prison. They only help you detox from alcohol in prison because you can die going cold turkey from that. Yeah. I think we all guessed that it was something, some sort of opioid. Let's see. Empress says pharmacies give you Narcan when you fill an opioid prescription. It's interesting. In Australia, we don't describe prescriptions or medication as RX. In Australia, they're not done that way, but everyone in America and some overseas countries all use the RX for prescriptions and medication, which is interesting. Show runs late said, then I had identity theft in November of the same year. 2008 was hell. Identity theft is one of the largest rising crimes in every nation on earth. Danny Mitchell says a neighbor said he saw them bring in 230 packs. 230 packs of fentanyl? That's a lot of fentanyl. No, I'm just kidding. You mean 230 packs of booze? Well, booze does heighten opioids' effects on the system. So maybe they were piss drunk too. And by taking the opioids, they just OD'd. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. People don't know their limits. Laurie says, I don't think Jordan meant to kill his friends. I don't think anyone, for the most part, at least most of the time, unless you're a serial killer or a murderer, mean to kill anyone. But hold on. Ah. Empress says it's actually a P and an X for RX. Fun fact. Oh, it just makes it look like that because they're joined together. Gotcha. Uh, anyone who loses a partner is, it's one of the hardest things to go through in life. Second to losing parents, I think. It's probably one of the hardest things ever. All right. Let's go to this story. Jennifer Crumbley says, I don't think I'm a failure as a parent. Michigan school shooter's mother says she wishes he'd killed us instead of the 4 students, as she refuses to say she's a victim, but adds, we did lose a lot. We lost everything. Okay. Jennifer Crumbley attempted to counterclaim she was a negligent mother in a Blockbuster testimony on Thursday before declaring she doesn't believe she's a failure as a parent to her school shooter son. The Michigan mother took the stand in her own defense on Thursday as prosecutors wrap up the manslaughter case against her, where she is facing up to 60 years in prison in the first case of a parent being charged over a school shooting. She said, I don't think I'm a failure as a parent, Crumbley told the court, as prosecutors allege that Jennifer and her husband James, who is set to stand trial in March, callously brushed off Ethan's plans for mental health support, claiming she laughed at him and James told him to suck it up. But at the time, I guess I didn't see. I felt bad that Ethan was sad at those times, and I guess I just failed somewhere, she told jurors. The mother admitted that she would have done things differently if she could, and adding, I wish he would have killed us instead. I think you only say these things, Miss Crumbley, because of your predicament right now. You're only saying these things because the spotlight is very heavily on you, almost, burning you right now. And you're only saying these things because you know it's what people want to hear. It says, Crumbley stopped short of calling herself a victim when asked, but she said she had lost a lot. We lost everything. In one text he's saying shown to court, Ethan texted his mother over his paranoid belief that he was being haunted by a ghost. When she didn't respond, he said, can you at least text back? Crumbley denied ever believing her son was dangerous and claimed her son's text messages were often sarcastic as he would fool around. She insisted that Ethan, who is now serving life in prison without parole, could go to her with anything. Hours after breaking down in tears as her son's harrowing final diary entries were revealed. Those disturbing diary entries appeared to oppose her statements they were close, as Ethan wrote that my parents won't listen to me about help or therapist, and I have zero help for my mental problems, and it's causing me to shoot up the effing school. It sounds like they had a very fractured home. Here's some of the, you know, journal, entries, and you got some redacted stuff here. It says here, I want help, but my parents don't listen to me, so I can't get any help. Poor kid. I mean, I feel sorry for him in some ways and not in others, because at the same time, he's still a murderer. It says Crumbly's claims they were a close family came just a day after her extramarital affair was exposed in the court, as prosecutors argued she was focused on her tryst with a fire captain over her disturbed son. Much of Crumbly's opening testimony centered on her family's relationship, as prosecutors alleged that Ethan's cries for help were ignored by his parents and claimed they mocked his cries for help. Um, Ethan said, my mum laughed when I told her. He texted to a friend in March 2021, around 7 months before the shooting, adding that he would have called 911 about voices in his head, but he didn't want to anger his parents. Jennifer denied ever laughing at her son's struggle and said he never once brought up hearing voices. However, she admitted he lived a lonely lifestyle. There were a couple of times when Ethan had expressed anxiety over taking tests, anxiety about what he was going to do after high school, whether it was college or military. So he expressed those concerns to me, but not to a level where I felt he needed to see a psychiatrist or a mental health professional. The issues of Ethan's school life came under scrutiny because on the day of the school shooting, he was caught by a teacher drawing disturbing images of murders and shootings on his homework. Despite writing The Thoughts Won't Stop, Help Me, both of his parents declined to take him home and left him at the school, where he had a 9mm handgun secretly stashed in his backpack. As her testimony turned to the day of the shooting, she said she had a feeling something was wrong with her son because he texted her, I love you, right after the meeting that morning, which she found to be abnormal. If your son is abnormal for texting that I love you, what kind of home life do you have? I mean, I I don't get it. If that's abnormal to you, you have issues. Yeah, sure. Huffman says, I agree. She's in a big pickle right now. Definitely, 100%. Sean says, angry kids just ran away to a friend's house in my day. That's right. Uh, Marilanda says she was more worried about her horses than her son. Agreed. Yeah, it sounds like he was ignored at home quite a lot. Moonlight View says my blood pressure is gonna blow. I think she cops the full punishment for this. Shelley says the tenant slept for 2 days and was only aware when police arrived, thinking he was on something as well. Maybe a small. Definitely, I think it's the only way you sleep for 2 days, and not have to get up to pee, eat, whatever, and yeah. So I think it's the only way that happens. 60 years? Okay, maybe not 60 years, but I think she's gonna serve some years. I don't know how many that is, but I think she'll serve time because I think the county and the town want to send a message that we're not gonna sit back and keep allowing this crap to happen, and that parents are gonna have to take responsibility and parent their children. And we can't keep just saying, "Oh, my son just went to a school and shot everyone. What was I supposed to do? I didn't know." It's your child, and you're gonna have to step up and parent your child, know what's going on in your household, and take a bigger active role in their life. And that's what she didn't do here. And they're gonna make an example out of her. At least I think so. Emperor says, yes, one can detect cocaine in the hair. That's why Britney Spears shaved her head. Federline was trying to find a reason to get custody of the boys. Yeah, actually, quite a few drug dealers or drug cooks, you'll often see that they'll shave their children's hair so that police can't test their children's hair to see if there's been any drugs in the household. Happens quite a lot actually in children court. Marlene Clausen said the parents ran after the shooting. I know. And they deserve to go to jail nonetheless. Yes, I think they will. Summer Wells. I don't know why you brought that up, but okay. Yes, Summer Wells. I don't know. Hold on. Is there news in her death? I mean, her death, her disappearance. It's crazy to me. Someone out there must know something about her. Someone's either seen her, knows something, heard something, something. No, there's nothing new on. Oh, the short hair. Yeah, she had quite short hair for a girl, for a little girl. Who keeps coming out of my house? It's weird. Yeah, she did, right? There's photos of her with like a shaved head. Yeah. There's photos of her with no hair. She used to have really long blonde locks at one point. And even her, this looks like when her hair was growing back a bit. It's sort of like a bob type, little hair. Yeah, no, that's definitely odd with the shaved head. There you go. I don't know if that's to avoid drug testing or not sure. It's a ghost. Could be. It's quite common. I've seen it. I've seen it in trial court. I've heard about it. I've seen people with it. Empress says, I call the fade haircut the lice no more do. Yeah, I mean, some people do it for that reason too. If they have a very bad lice infestation, sometimes the only way to get rid of it is to remove all the hair, treat what's left, and keep washing it. Like it's much easier to wash the small hair than really long hair, and to comb it. So I don't know if that's what happened to Summer or. Yeah, it could have been lice. It happens. Little kids get it from school or wherever, other kids. And I had it when I was a kid. There was a kid at my school who had it, and then we ended up getting it because we're in the same class and had to have that stupid stinky shampoo and that tiny little comb thing. And oh my God, it was a real big rigmarole. Moonlight View says it was touchy in the 80s being a barber. More than a few customers began balding in the crown, where they had an abundant, healthy hair prior, and more often than not, it was cocaine. Ah, it's a very interesting insight. I never knew that. Jojo says Marilyn, they claim she cut it several times. It was different lengths. Yeah, there's definitely photos of Summer where you can see she's had multiple different length hairs, like shaved, little like, pixie haircut type thing, and then long hair and everything in between. Like there's a bunch of photos of her. Hey Shad, good to see you, buddy. How are you? I won't call you mate because you don't like it, so I'll call you buddy. How are you, buddy? Let's see. Okay. We had microscopes too. Oh my god. Yeah, that is interesting. I never heard that before. Diane Marie says the stories her parents put out are endless. There's only one thing I care about with Summer Wells. It's not about covering her case. It's not about finding every scrap of little things that ever her parents, her, whatever, her church, what I don't know. Don't care. I just care where the little girl is. When there's more information, solid information about where Summer is or who might have her or where she went, I will cover it every day, every single day to make sure everyone knows. But until that day happens, until there's actual some decent information, I just won't cover her case. Once a year or a couple times a year, I'll bring up her photo and the hotline for the tips to get tips for the case, and that's it. That's all I'll do because I just don't agree with the people muddying the water in regards to this case. The amount of like just random crap that's been stirred up in Summer Wells' case is disappointing. Being part of the true crime scene really is. I know people really want to talk about it, but it doesn't help. It makes it worse, much worse. Emily Nubb says eventually her or her body will be found. I hope so. I hope so for everyone's sake. Don't know. No idea. She could be 10 meters from home, or she could be 10 miles from home, or she could be 10 counties from home, or 10 states from home. Just don't know. She could be anywhere. That's the issue. We don't know. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on and talk about other crimes. Where are my friends at WHTM? I've got a story out of Pennsylvania tonight, not Transylvania. Don't get that confused like last time. Uh, I found a skull believed to be missing Pennsylvania attempted murder suspect. A human skull found in Berks County has been identified as a missing man wanted for the attempted murder of his wife 20 years ago. The Berks County District Attorney's Office says in April 2004, Roger Hart, formerly of Pottstown, disappeared after he tried to kill his wife at their home. At the time, Hart's vehicle was found with his car keys and wallet inside, and a resident reported seeing a man matching Hart's description enter a wooded area. According to the DA's office, the skull was found in April 2022 by a boy in a pond located near Pine Lane in Amity Township near his home. The finding led to 2 searches of the pond for more skeletal remains, but none were found. The Amity Township Police Department county detectives began an investigation and suspected that the skull was Hart. The skull was sent to Mercyhurst University in Erie to be examined, and the results came back that the skull was male and believed to be exposed to the elements for more than 10 years. Eventually, the skull was determined to be Hart's based on the investigation and DNA testing, but due to the skull's condition and lack of skeletal remains, Hart's cause of death could not be determined. The multitude of law enforcement agencies such as Amity Police Department and the Berks County District Attorney's detectives were assisted by the FBI, PA State Police, Berks County Coroner's Office, and the Pottstown Borough Police Department. Also, numerous fire, rescue, and search crews. That is really interesting. I'd never heard about this guy, but he tried to kill his wife and then maybe took his own life. Let's listen to this video. Rory, you right shaking everything? You right there? Thanks for that.
County has been identified as a missing attempted murder suspect. The DA's office says Roger Hart disappeared in 2004 after he tried to kill his wife. A boy found the skull in a pond near his home in 2022. Testing now confirms it is Hart's. Because of its condition, a cause of death could not be determined.
There you go. That's all we got. That's all we got out of that one. Rory. Hey. Hey, what are you doing? It's not your show, girl. All right.
The man charged with killing 6 people.
Stop. Let me try and find this guy's name. Roger Hart. Let's see. Trying to find more about his, like when he tried to kill his wife. Attempted murder. Can't find much about his wife's attempted murder, but there's maybe another quick little video here. If it'll play.
Learning that a skull
found in a pond in Berks County is connected to a 20-year-old missing persons case. According to the Berks County DA's office, the skull was found by a 13-year-old in 2022. Advanced DNA analysis identified the remains as Roger Hart. Hart left Pottstown in 2004 after being charged with attempting to kill his wife in their home. Then the skull was found 2 years ago. It was sent to Mercyhurst University for examination and then later an FBI lab. But based on the condition of the skull and the lack of additional remains, Hart's cause of death can't be determined.
Sorry about that. It dropped out for a second after that video finished. Um, it's very interesting. I had no idea. All right. All right. Let me see if I can find you another story. But I thought the skull thing was interesting. I feel sorry for the kid who found the skull, actually. I mean, that's something that's going to stay with him for the rest of his life. Either he's going to think it's really cool, be like the worst thing that ever happened to him. It was a kid, right? Hold on. Yeah, by a boy in a pond. It's interesting that the rest of his body was never found, though, but his head was found in the pond, but not the rest of him. So did an animal take his skull when he killed himself in the forest or whatever, and then take his skull and then drop it in the water or something? That's where my mind went when I heard that they found the skull, but not the rest of the body in the water. I mean, it could have degraded, but it wasn't that long ago that he did this. It wasn't like, oh, I guess it was in 2004. It was 20 years ago. Maybe then. Yes, interesting. Yes. Internet going in and out. Sorry to hear that, Mr. Shad. Mr. Shad. All right. Let me get you another story. We've got about 20 minutes till the end of the show. That's pretty good considering we have worked through about 5 stories already. All right, let's talk about this. Is very interesting. Let's watch this video.
Police have finally cracked 2 cold cases of 2 women murdered. One goes back 33 years, the other unsolved for 49 years. Jacqueline joins us now with more on how the mystery was solved and how the same suspect is behind both.
So back in December of 1975, Terry Becker, she was found dead in Westminster, Colorado. That's just outside Denver. Then in 1991, in Las Vegas, inside her apartment near MLK and Owens, Sherry Bridgewater, a mother, she was found dead. Now, police say both were sexually assaulted and strangled by the very same person. More than 30 years later, through DNA evidence, Thomas Elliott was tied to both the crimes. It's a match investigators were only able to make after they dug up the killer's body from a local cemetery. And that was made possible through funding from the Vegas Justice League.
They needed to access the suspect's body, basically, and they had to do an exhumation. We said, absolutely, how can we help?
Fox 5 has told you about the cause of the Vegas Justice League, locals that bring justice for those who were murdered and their families. Their case unsolved, their killer unaccountable without crucial DNA evidence. The Vegas Justice League and their national cause, Project Justice, sponsors the hefty costs of DNA evidence to be sequenced and verified through geneticists. They've helped Metro Police and agencies nationwide solve 25 cases. Their latest mission, the murder of Sherry Bridgewater. In May 1991, she was found dead in her apartment off Monroe and I Street, strangled and sexually assaulted. Her death remained unsolved. Her parents eventually passed away. Her children had no answers. The Justice League got a call for a unique request that could crack the case.
This is a cost that was unexpected. Is there any way that we could can the Vegas Justice League help out with that?
In October of 2023, Mr. Elliott's remains were exhumed, and we were able to obtain tissue and bone samples from him, 100% match that Thomas Martin Elliott is the suspect in both cases, and we can effectively say that both cases are now closed.
Police solved 2 cases at once, Bridgewater's murder and the 1975 murder of Terry Becker in Colorado. In 2013, Metro and Colorado investigators suspected a tie, and in 2018 started to pursue answers from DNA. Police say Thomas Martin Elliott ended up in Nevada after he was arrested for burglary in Colorado and served time in Carson City. Up north, he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl, was convicted and released in 1991. Afterwards, police say he murdered Bridgewater, who he may have met at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Elliott killed himself in 1991 and was buried in the local cemetery.
It's difficult to say that we're happy about the announcement because it always comes with a sad note that, there's a loss in the family, and we're just, appreciative to be able to help and to bring some answers to the family and some closure.
Now, the Vegas Justice League and Project Justice are still working to solve more than 100 cases in the Valley and nationwide. It's all made possible through donations from individuals and sponsors. To learn more about the cause and how you can donate, go to the story on our website, fox5vegas.com.
I feel like there was a documentary out last year about this case, and we actually spoke about it on one of my shows, because I know those 2 women, and I know they were looking for funding to do the DNA testing for it, and for to exhume the killer. I know that they were looking for 1 permission, 2 funding to do that as well through the Justice League. And I feel like we covered it, I don't know, months and months and months ago. I feel like we did. Months with that spell M-U-N-T, not M-O-N-T-H. I know that's a joke that Gray always likes to tell people. That everyone says it with a U, not an O. But there you go. They actually did a press conference 1 day ago. I'm going to show you a little bit of it. I don't think we'll watch all of it, but we'll watch a little bit about this.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jason Johansson, the homicide lieutenant with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and I'm joined up here by Sergeant Joe Patton from our cold case homicide section, along with Justin Wu and Lydia Ansel from the Vegas Justice League. It's my pleasure to be here today to be able to announce the solving of a cold homicide investigation from 1991. And through the work done on this investigation, the collaborative efforts between us and Westminster, Colorado, we were also able to resolve and solve a case from the same suspect in 1975 in Colorado. I'll start first by going over the details of our investigation here and what led us to this point where we're able to make this announcement. In 1991, May, Vegas Metro Police responded to report.
Is it me, or does that video have like a massive, like high-pitched whine coming out of it? Like I can just hear it like a dog whistle, and I'm like, is that just my speakers, or is that their microphone on this video? But I can hear it. Just let me know if you guys can hear it.
Report of a suspicious death at the 1000 block of Monroe inside an apartment. There they made contact with 2 females, a friend and a relative of Sherry Bridgewater, who had just found her deceased inside her apartment. Due to the suspicious nature of how her body was positioned at the time, homicide responded, took over the investigation, and through autopsy, it was very quickly learned that Miss Bridgewater was sexually assaulted and murdered by strangulation with a ligature. The homicide investigative team worked that case relentlessly over the years and continually reviewed it over the years, but unfortunately at that time, it had remained unsolved. As many of you are well aware, the advancements in DNA technology has allowed us to go back and look at cases and obtain evidence that we had, but we didn't know what was there until the advancements in DNA technology. And it wasn't there until 2013 when the sexual assault kit from Miss Bridgewater was submitted for DNA examination. And through that DNA examination, we were able to develop a suspect profile of the person who we believed murdered Sherry Bridgewater. But at that time, we were not able to put a name behind the DNA profile. When we put that in 2013, we received a hit in CODIS, which is the DNA database, which linked us to a second unsolved murder in Westminster, Colorado from December of 1975. Immediately, our detectives in 2013 began to collaborate with Westminster PD, where we learned that in their homicide, a female by the name of Therese Becker was found deceased in a field. And during autopsy, it was determined that she also was sexually assaulted and died by strangulation. Both agencies had the same suspect profile, but at that time, there was not the technology available to us to actually identify who the suspect profile was, unless somehow we were able to obtain DNA from that suspect. It wasn't until about 2018 that both agencies, working together collaboratively, decided to submit this case for forensic genealogy. The forensic genealogy eventually sent the DNA sample from the suspect to Parabon Nanolabs, and eventually to a company called Solves by DNA in Denver, Colorado. And through close collaboration with the LVMPD, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and Westminster PD in 2020.
Did they say Solves by DNA? Isn't that Othram, or is that a completely different company that has a very similar tagline? Because don't they have one called DNASolves.com? It's out of Houston though, isn't it? Not Colorado, unless that's where they're incorporated in Colorado and not Houston. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Colorado? Okay, we'll see.
22, almost 4 years later, we were eventually able to identify our suspect as Thomas Martin Elliott, who you'll see here to my left. Through our investigation and their investigation, we were able to place Mr. Elliott in Colorado at the time of the murder of Therese Becker in Westminster, Colorado. And we are also able to place him in Las Vegas in 1991 at the time of the murder of Sherry Bridgewater. Later on in the year of 1991 in November, Thomas Martin, he was pronounced deceased of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, i.e. a suicide, here in Las Vegas, and he was buried at a local cemetery. When I say that we were able to identify the suspect, we were not able to 100% confirm he was the suspect until we obtained DNA from Mr. Elliott. Both agencies, again, collaborated. Exhumations are very expensive to do. And based on the details, we approached our partners, as many of you are aware, we work all the time with, which is the Vegas Justice League. And we approached them with this case and we asked them if they would assist us in the funding of the exhumation of Thomas Elliott so that we can obtain a DNA sample from him. In October of 2023, Mr. Elliott's remains were exhumed and we were able to obtain tissue and bone samples from him, which were then submitted to another lab known as Bodie Technology, where they were able to extract the DNA sample and was compared to both cases and confirmed a 100% match that Thomas Martin Elliott is the suspect in both cases. And we can effectively say that both cases are now closed. Unfortunately, it took a long time to get to this point, but these are some of those cases that would not be solved with any other technology at the time that were available to detectives. I've been up here before numerous times talking to you about cold cases, and these presentations that we do resolving a cold cases are very important to me because not only we were able to solve a cold case, we were on the backside able to provide two different families, in this case, closure. And that closure resolution came through close collaboration between not only two law enforcement entities and numerous different labs, but also close coordination with our community partners. And that coordination, in my opinion, allows us to continue to move forward, and through the direction of our sheriff and our cold case team can continue to look at additional cold cases to see what cases DNA can solve and continue to move those cases forward and provide those families hope on those investigations, which I received a phone call today from a family in unsolved homicide, and that hope is very necessary for them. With that said, I'll take any additional questions some of you may have.
There you go. I'm not going to go through the questions as well, but I think it's quite interesting that maybe because they had success doing it with this case, like he said, they have other families who are calling him on a constant basis asking for more help with unsolved homicides. Maybe this will spur them to actually, take on more cases that they think they can, use genetic genealogy to solve. So that'll be yeah, I thought so, but he said Colorado. He said he said Colorado, not Houston. It's very odd. Unless they are incorporated in Colorado and not Houston, it's just where their office is. But when you hear them talking about Othram, they're always like, "Oh, out of Houston, it's in Othram, like Othram out of Houston, but not Colorado." So maybe I just don't know something. Sean says not all DNA companies share data to the feds, so many more could be solvable. Possibly. Hold on. What did they say? Ah, did they? What is this? What is you guys saying? Trying to find where Sean brings this up, but no, Gambler does not live in Australia. I'm struggling to find this comment. My comment list is not working correctly. Oh, here, about the AI software will make the process faster, picking up patterns. Hopefully, if they can train it, if they can find something to train it on, that would be good. Flying DJ says Bode Technology Headquarters, 104030 Furnace Road, Suite 107, Lawton, Virginia. Okay, I don't know who that is. Who is that, DJ? Bode Technology for DNA. Says Bode Technology provides trusted forensic DNA analyst services, innovative products and solutions, quality service and support. Since 1995, Bode has served law enforcement and identification markets and is unique in providing both state-of-the-art human DNA analysis and innovative DNA collection products. There you go. I have no idea who they are. There you go. They can show you the things they can do. DNA from spent shell casings. They have a keynote speaker, Amanda Knox. Might have to watch that if it has Amanda Knox in it. DNA from rootless hair, forensic investigative genetic genealogy. They can do that too. That's interesting. Amanda Knox. Let's learn more. They're having her speak, Amanda Knox, at their Bode 2024 conference. They're looking for a wide array of topics that are innovative, engaging, and inspiring and informative for the forensic science and law enforcement communities. Click on this link below to send in your presentation ideas by February 12th, 2024. Do you have someone you'd like to see speak at the Bode Conference 2024? Send in your ideas today to them. But this will be interesting. What exactly would she talk about? The DNA evidence in her trial, maybe? Or just about her trial altogether? I hope they stream this online. I quite like listening to her. I quite like hearing what her time in Italy and in jail in Italy was like. Oh, that's the company he mentions in the video. You think so, Marlene? You think so? Interesting. Jojo says, oh, I don't know what she's talking about, but hey, Jojo. Fair enough. I mean, you have your right to your opinion. We don't bash people for their opinions in this chat. Everyone's entitled to their view. It's all good. We're all adults here. I personally think that the Italian authorities screwed up the case like several times, and whether there's someone innocent or not, their fumbling of the case and trying to rush through an arrest and conviction is what made them drop the bag and caused the case to have to go through like 3 retrials and 3 different bloody court appeals and things like that, like years and years and years of court time because they just got fixated. But yeah, just my opinion. I think the documentary they did for Netflix, Amanda Knox, the Netflix documentary, was very well done. Amanda Knox. I think it's just called Amanda Knox, but that one was very well done. Is that the one that goes through both sides of her case, like for and against? I think so. It's pretty good. I think it did a pretty good job showing both arguments, whether for or against her being guilty, and she was involved with it too. Hey Jojo, hey, how are you? Anyway, if you want to watch this, I hope they put a link out. I'll have to keep an eye on it because I'd be interested to hear what she has to say. Can't believe she married someone called Christopher Robinson, sort of like from the Winnie the Pooh thing, similar name. Oh, it says you have to join them in Atlanta to be able to hear her speak. They'll probably charge you $1 million per table. Well, we'll see. I'll email them. You know what? After this, I'm going to email them and ask if they're going to live stream it. I'll ask them. Because I know there's probably people in the chat that would like to hear what she has to say. All right, let's see if we got one more story. How long do we have? About 10 minutes. Let's see. Okay. A Colombia man was convicted of third-degree murder and related charges Thursday after killing a man in Mannheim Township in March 2022. We have a video at the end I am going to show you of a different case that I'm pretty sure it was, hold on. Just want to check my notes. It was Sean. Sean sent it in, that's right. But this one's a different one. Tyler Wilson, 29, of Colombia, was found guilty of third-degree murder. Person not to possess a firearm, carry a firearm without license, and 8 counts of recklessly endangering another person after killing 25-year-old Jatavis Scott on March 29th. Lancaster County DA's office states that evidence showed that an argument began between the parties outside the former Club 23. Before becoming physical, that's when security moved them outside the building. Once outside, the group separated, but Wilson and Scott began to fight each other, but were separated for a moment. The two began to move towards each other when a flash was seen coming from Wilson's arm. That's according to the Lancaster County DA's office. It was revealed that he fired 2 shots. The defense counsel said the video evidence of the shots fired and a flash of light was insufficient, but those 2 shots and a flash of light were enough to end a human's life. At the end of that gun was this man's hand, according to Assistant DA Jessica Colo. That flick of light was muzzle flash from Tyler Wilson's hand that sent a grown man running, terrified, and ended a man's life. He was the only one not shocked by a resounding pop from a firearm because he's the one who pulled the trigger. Wilson's defense counsel argued that he wasn't the shooter. Wilson was remanded to Lancaster County Prison without bail and is awaiting his sentencing date. That's interesting. Third-degree murder. What does that get you? Let's see. So it's considered a crime of passion and informally called third-degree murder. This is any intentional killing that involves no prior intent to kill, which was committed under such circumstances that would cause a reasonable person to become emotionally or mentally disturbed. So a fight is considered third-degree murder? That's interesting. That you can get in a fight and that's how you get a third-degree murder charge if you pulled the gun and shot them, because there's no prior, intent. Interesting. There you go. So we'll get a sentencing hearing for Tyler Wilson, 29 of Columbia, probably in a few months, I think. Does it say? Says he has to await a sentencing date. Very interesting. I didn't watch this trial. I don't know if anyone did. But let's see what this was. This was the original article. Tyler J. Wilson has been charged with the killing of a man back in March, had his preliminary hearing Tuesday, May 25th. It was like a year ago. According to the Lancaster District Attorney's Office, the evidence presented at the hearing was enough to hold the charges over Wilson after he allegedly shot and killed 25-year-old Jatavis Scott at Club 23 in Manheim Township. There you go. Wilson will face a count of each criminal homicide, prohibited possession of a firearm. He must have pleaded this down, because in this article it says criminal homicide, and in the other article it says he was convicted of third-degree murder. So I wonder if he got pled down to third-degree murder instead of criminal homicide. Interesting. Yeah, that's the original article for that one. I want to show you this video though that Sean sent me yesterday. It's one of the most bonkers videos ever.
Against a mother and her 14-year-old son have been dropped.
Get your food! Ooh, get the
Trigger
gun.
warning, by the way.
Hey,
Trigger warning. This is pretty violent.
hey. Get your food! Get your food! If you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh my God, I said one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh, say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh,
The man later died from his injuries. A state attorney's office says they moved to dismiss the charges due to emerging evidence. Murder charges against a mother and her 14-year-old son have been dropped.
get your food! Ooh, get the gun. Hey.
So what you're seeing here is this guy is arguing with this woman. He eventually strikes her and punches her in the face, pulls back for a second, threatens to punch her in the face again, and this lady's son fires at this guy and kills him in defense of his mother, and they've dropped the charges over it.
Hey. Get your food! Get your food! If you say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh my God, I said one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh, say one more thing, I'm gonna knock you out. Oh,
The man later died from his injuries. A state attorney's office says they moved to dismiss the charges due to emerging evidence. Murder charges against a
So I don't know what the emerging evidence was, whether it's that CCTV or mobile phone footage, but striking a woman at any time, I mean, in a restaurant setting, what was that guy doing? I don't have a name, so I can't look it up, but maybe I can Google it like this. Let's have a look. Is this the same one? Ah, it's so bright. Here we go. They're saying a woman and her 14-year-old son, who were initially charged with murder in a fatal shooting of a man at a Chicago fast food restaurant earlier this month, plan to file a lawsuit after attorneys say she was wrongfully charged.
Also this morning,
On June 21st, 2023, Carlisha Hood was arrested by Chicago Police Department under wrongful charges of first-degree murder, charges for which Carlisha Hood is innocent and that have since been dismissed. They're saying the release adds that Hood at 9 a.m. Tuesday will speak for the first time about the incident. These charges have caused great harm to Miss Hood, her family, and the family's reputation. Miss Hood is and has always been a victim. So they're saying, based upon the facts, evidence, and the law, we are unable to meet our burden of proof in the prosecution of these cases. And apparently it's due to the mobile phone footage that came forward showing the man striking his mother. I know, right? I don't understand why you would hit someone like that over like not picking up your food fast enough or something. It's bizarre. It's really bizarre. All right. We have to wind up. I'm sorry. I love you all. I don't want to go, but we have to. I will be back tomorrow night for Friday night. We're going to hang out on Friday night together. We're going to, I don't know what we're going to do yet. I'll find something. I'll research this afternoon and we'll find things to do. She had a credit card in Chicago and that's hard to get, I hear. Okay. Hey, Reby, how are you? Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night. I promise, at 9 p.m. I want to thank Sean the Sheep for your donation. I really appreciate it. And Heather B, thank you so much for your donation last night after the show. I really appreciate it. And there was one more, but I don't want to say the wrong name. I don't want to say her real name. I'm pretty sure it's our friend. Yes, it is. Peekaboo Cockatiel, thank you so much for your donation during the show last night. I really appreciate it. You guys are so kind. And support this channel is much appreciated. Helps out a lot. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Don't be late. Otherwise, you won't get to see all the show. Yeah, we'll be back. And then coming up later in February, we have Cold Justice on the weekend, and we're going to do a watch party, about an hour live show on a Saturday night, and we're going to sit here and we're going to watch the episode and talk about the case and dig up information while we're watching it. We're going to have a lot of fun. So if you want to be around for that, you can. We're going to be on about 9 p.m. tomorrow night. 9 p.m. Sorry. 1 o'clock in Australian time. So 12 o'clock for you? You're an hour behind? 12 o'clock? I think that's right. Thanks to Moonlight View for being awesome. Thank you. And to everyone else who is either in the chat or has subscribed recently or is on the replay crew. I appreciate it all. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow night, okay? Good night, everyone. See you later. Ping out.